Madam de Keyser, do you think really that Russian proposal to put Syrian chemical weapons under international control would stop this awful, horrible, protracted conflict?
Well, I don't think that it's really a solution, but it's a good signal. And maybe it's the first signal of Russia since the beginning of this revolution. The question of the chemical weapons, it's a very old one. When we design and even start to sign the association agreement with Syria, EU-Syria association agreement, we never succeed to go till the end, but the negotiations were over. And in this association agreement, one of the points was the destruction of the massive destruction weapons and chemical weapons. But unfortunately, after the death of Rafik Hariri and the rest, we never succeed to sign that. So it was, on the agenda of the EU. So when Russia came with this message, of course, we said, okay, we agree. But it's clear that the 100,000 deaths in Syria before the use of the chemical weapons are deaths because there is a civil war in Syria, and a proxy war with multiple interference from Qatar, from Saudi Arabia, from Iran, from Russia, etc., etc. So, to be brief and to answer to your question, no, it will not solve the problem, but it will maybe force the international community, which is to say Russia, EU, Syria, and the rest, to sit at a table and to negotiate politically, and the unique solution is a political one. It's not a military one, it's not only chemical weapons, it's just to sit down and to try to negotiate.
So you think the policies Obama takes, or the strategy he takes in consulting the Senate and the Congress, do you think it's the right policy he takes? Because many people in Syria rejoice. They say that if he is engaged in so many consultancies, most probably he will not strike.
I didn't share the military strategy of Obama since the beginning, because I know quite well Syria and the Middle East in general, and I thought that the position of France and Great Britain and the US was a very risky one in this regional context, and it could put really the fire to the whole region. So to me it was very risky. So when Obama decided to consult the Congress, I said, okay, it's okay. When Cameron decided to consult the chambers, I was very surprised to say that it was a no. And nobody knows exactly who will remind Iraq. I was surprised to see that in Great Britain, so many people were thinking to the Iraq war. What are the proofs? Is it useful? What will be the chaos after that? Maybe more extremists, maybe more Al-Qaeda. I was in Iraq before the war. Of course, Saddam Hussein was a dictator, very cruel one, but Al-Qaeda was not there. Now you find Al-Qaeda everywhere. As soon as you have chaos in this region, the extremists are there and Al-Qaeda too. So to consult the Congress and even to have a no, to me, would not be a disaster.
Madam de Keyser, what can be done by the European Parliament? What can be the contribution of the European deputies? Because you are the only elected body for European citizens. What positive can you do to resolve this bloodshed conflict?
Of course, we will not go as a jihadist in Syria to take part to the conflict, but at least the voice of the reason I don't know if I translate that correctly, but in French is, well, let's be clear and let's be cautious. But now we must find a solution to stop this war. And I think it's a political one and it's a negotiated one with, of course, Bashar al-Assad, with the regime, with Russia, with Iran, maybe, but also with the rest and our allies in the world. It's the only possibility because it's a regional war. You cannot take only the government and the coalition, the Syrian rebels, and to say, okay, negotiate. It's not enough. It's much more than that. And I don't talk about Saudi Arabia and Qatar. So political solution, and we can push at least our government and to say we are elected, this is the voice of the people. Then we support the idea to eliminate and to control the chemical weapons. Third, we can act on a humanitarian base. And we don't talk here about the million of Syrian refugees in Lebanon, in Jordan, who could make really not only a catastrophe of a humanitarian problem, a political one. In Lebanon, the country is on the verge to explode. So I'm going to Lebanon not tomorrow, but on Thursday, see the Syrian refugee, to see the Palestinian refugee who are not able to enter into Jordan, not able to enter to Lebanon, going back to Syria. So we can do a lot from a humanitarian point of view, and I think that Europe has to show more solidarity with these people and to open a little bit its borders, which are more or less close to the Syrian now.
Madame de Keyser, the last question. Are you not frustrated as a politician with the Arab Spring? Because many people are.
Well, maybe the word. If you want to know if I am happy, no. But I know that to change a country, to change the culture, to have a culture of democracy, a culture of freedom, freedom of expression, and the respect of the right of the women. It's a long story. Maybe we were wrong to think that immediately after the revolution it could take place. The democratic transition will be probably a long process, and we must support that. I was not happy with the way Morsi in Egypt adopted its constitution and the kind of constitution was adopted, etc. I'm not happy with the right of the women. I'm not happy with the freedom of expression. I'm not happy with a lot of human rights violation. But what I would like to have is really a strict application of our new neighborhood policy, which is to say more for more. More money and more democracy. But up to now, it was very, very difficult to have the respect of this new neighborhood policy, which is our way in Europe to try to support a transition, not to have bombs and military attacks, etc., but to introduce democracy, but to say, okay, some pressure, strong pressure, and I hope that with the time, everybody is saying, yes, remember the French Revolution, remember in 1993 the terror in France, etc. It could take time, and it's true that it was only 2 years ago, but I hope the best for this country, these countries, and I'm still respectful of the way they choose to go.
Thank you very much, Madame de Keyser.